Hi everyone, Caoimhin here from CIT's Blackrock Castle Observatory. In the last video, we took a look at the ecliptic, the path that the sun, moon and planets take across our sky, and how we can use that path to figure out the time of year. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the relation between astronomy's zodiacal constellations and the 12 signs of the zodiac that are often written in the back of the newspaper. So if you'd like to learn how to use the back of the newspaper to figure out what pictures are in the sky, then stick around to the end of this video. And if you'd like to catch all of our videos, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and click that little bell icon next to the subscribe button if you'd like to receive the most up-to-date notifications. So we're here looking into the south at 10 o'clock on the 1st of May. The moon is right next to the constellation of Leo, so we are starting just as we were in the last video. Now, when these constellations were first used to figure out the time of the year, it was ancient Greece. So here's our ecliptic, and the sun does still move across the ecliptic. It does still pass through the same constellations, but the time of year that the sun is in front of Leo for us in the modern day, it's different to the time of year where the sun was in Leo in ancient Greece. And this is because of leap years and changing calendars and various things. But where the sun is at a certain time of year, it does drift over very long timescales, thousands of years. So for our lifetimes, where we're seeing the constellations, the time of year we see them at, it won't really change. But it has changed in ancient Greece, and one of the best ways to show that is by moving back into daytime and going through a couple of different times of year to see which picture the sun is in front of. So let's bring up our constellations and get rid of this lovely blue sky so we can see all the stars nice and clearly. For me personally, I'm most familiar with what dates are supposed to be correct coming into the later part of the year. So here we go. If you take a look at our date just down here at the bottom of the screen, it is now the 31st of the 10th. It is Halloween, one of my favorite days. So the sun is here just underneath the feet of Virgo. Virgo is a very big constellation, so the sun is in Virgo for about a month and a half. It's in Virgo for quite a long time. In the back of the newspaper, if you take a look at the dates that line up with the different constellations, it will say that Scorpius covers Halloween, that if the sun is in front of Scorpius, it's Halloween. But that was in the time of the ancient Greeks. Since then, things have changed, so the sun will be in front of Virgo on the day of Halloween, and it doesn't reach even the tip of Scorpius until we come all the way into the end of November and the beginning of December. So things have changed by a little over a month. In the back of the newspaper, Scorpius covers the end of October, beginning of November, but in the actual sky in the modern day, the sun is in Scorpius for the end of November, beginning of December. So things are slightly different. If we take a look at the constellation of Libra, just there next to Virgo, it only takes the sun a couple of weeks, not even a full month, to pass through Libra, whereas it takes the sun over a month, almost 2 months, to go the whole way through Libra. So the time of year that the sun is in front of these constellations, it's not the same in the real sky. It's not the same in astronomy as it is in astrology, and that is one of the many differences. But luckily, there is an important similarity. The list in the back of the newspaper describes the constellations in the order that we see them in the sky, usually from sunset in the west to sunrise in the east. So if we bring back our lovely blue sky, we can definitely find Leo in the sky tonight. Leo is one of the easier constellations to find at the moment because the moon is right there in Leo. So if you find Leo in the sky, take a look at the list in the back of the newspapers and look for the horoscope or the star sign that says Leo. You can ignore the dates, you could ignore the little paragraph where it says how your future is going to go. Just look at where Leo is in the list. The next one in the list moving down should be Virgo, and the one above Leo moving up the list should be Cancer. If we look at the motion of the sun through the year, it's moving from the constellations in the west towards the constellations in the east, and this is because of the direction that we orbit the sun. So if we see Leo right in the middle of the sky in the south, and that's where it's going to be about 10 o'clock tonight, we should see the constellations coming up later in the year than Leo to the left of Leo, to its east, and we should see the constellations that will come up before Leo to the west, to the right of Leo. So that means if you find just one of the signs, one of the zodiacal constellations, you can use the list in the newspaper to find 12 of the pictures in the sky. So we have Leo here. The list will tell us that Cancer comes before Leo, Gemini before Cancer, and then Taurus. On the other side of the sky, we've got Virgo and then Libra. It is useful to remember that different constellations are different sizes. So sometimes we'll see about 4 in the sky. So we've got Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, and just about Libra. We've just about got 6. Whereas at other times of the year, it could be closer to 5, or it could look more like 7 if we're seeing lots of smaller constellations. So these pictures in the sky don't line up perfectly with the newspaper in terms of their dates, but they do in terms of their order. Unfortunately, the list in the back of the newspaper will completely ignore Ophiuchus. This is for various reasons. The sun is only in front of Ophiuchus for a couple of days, so it's not quite as useful in terms of measuring the time of the year, and because Ophiuchus would be the 13th sign, then the signs of the zodiac wouldn't match up nicely with the months anymore. And in astrology, it is supposed to match, it's supposed to look nice. In astronomy, sometimes things are a little bit messier. We've got big constellations that take up months, we've got smaller constellations that only take up a few days, and this is because the actual sky is a little bit messier than the ideal put forward in the back of the newspaper. If you're looking at the sky in the morning, Mars or Saturn will help you find either side of Capricorn. Mars is in the tail of Capricorn, Saturn's just at the snout, whereas Jupiter is just at the back of Sagittarius. So if you are more of an early riser, you can use the planets to find those constellations in the morning, and then use that list in the newspaper. On one side of Capricorn, we're going to have Aquarius and Pisces. Aries is just there right next to the sun. Going the other way, away from Capricorn and Sagittarius, we'll have our Scorpius, our Libra, and our Virgo. Of course, Virgo is visible in the evening at this time of the year as well. So the list in the back of the newspaper, it might not be astronomy. The list in the back of the newspaper is very much astrology, and most of what they will talk about is predicting your future or what's going to happen to you in days to come. Astronomy is purely about looking at the stars and planets and figuring out and predicting how they will move and behave. But the names of these pictures in the sky are the same, and they go in the same order, and this traces back to the roots of these pictures way back in ancient Greece. So if you're finding it tough to spot the other constellations in the sky, especially faint ones like Cancer, well, that list in the back of the newspaper can help. If you found Leo and you found Gemini and you're sure there's something else up there but you can't quite see it, well, checking the back of the newspaper will tell you. In between Leo and Gemini, there is Cancer, even if we can't see it in the sky. So I hope you get a chance to take a look at those lovely constellations over the coming days.